I would say that it doesn't feel like Christmas because it's warm and sunny outside, but then everyone would tell me that I single-handedly have killed the planet. So I'm just gonna avoid that one. Moved on to the next hypothesis. It doesn't feel like Christmas because I didn't have to travel home for Christmas, which is kind of bittersweet. Like, wow, I was already here. I didn't have to come all the way home because I already am home. There's something a little special, a little magical and sparkly about packing your suitcase to come home for Christmas. I can't remember the last time that I lived in Colorado for Christmas. It had to have been like high school. I think there's a lot of new people around because when I posted my video of me looking at apartments, there was a lot of comments of people being like, you could never survive on your own because you've only ever lived with your parents. So I was like, okay, maybe we gotta get to know each other again. This is my absolute favorite drink right now. I don't think that cold brew or coffee or espresso does it for me anymore, so I've had to move on to this. Specifically like the cherry slush, and it just makes me feel happy. I like the red. I like the red can. I like the way it feels in my hand. It's like perfect grasping. We are going to do answering brutal and juicy questions about me. How unbelievably self-indulgent is that to talk about myself for 30 minutes? This is the cue to my family that you better click off of this video because I'm gonna show what you got. Want to ruin the surprise and you can't wait one day? Then like, okay, that sucks for you. This is my warning. Friends and Trinity, you better click off. This has been the season of robes. I have gotten everyone a big, fluffy, barefoot dreams robe. Got literally so many of them. All right, let's start with the first question. When are you going to finally be honest about your plastic surgery? Me being honest about my plastic surgery is by telling you that I have never had plastic surgery. I am not against plastic surgery in the least way, shape, or form. Honestly, I am the type of bitch that would get plastic surgery. The problem is that I am so afraid of needles. So many comments yesterday about my little guy right here. Got my little like benign skin cancer tumor cut out and it just left a scar. But I was there in the dermatologist's office and they cut it out with like a hole punch style thing. Numbed the fuck out of me because they know. They're like, this girl is gonna pass out. And she was like, okay, whatever you do, don't look because you have to stay awake for the whole thing. And I accidentally, you know, well, I guess it wasn't an accident. I purposely like little peeped over. Yeah, they had to tip me back. There was juice involved. I couldn't drive home. Girl, I don't think I had facial reconstruction surgery. Sometimes my makeup just looks significantly better than others. That is not saying that I'm never gonna get fake tits because I totally am. And they are gonna be fucking huge. Merry Christmas. I'm gonna put these little black bows. How cute. We have one gift wrap. Next question said, are you ever going to talk about your weight loss? Based on just doctor visits. And if any topic of like weight or whatever makes you uncomfortable, feel free to skip ahead. At one point in my life, happened to be 40 pounds heavier than I was at my last doctor visit. I don't ever weigh myself at home. I don't like it. Don't want to do it. Not interested. I know the exact day. It is the day that we filmed being the Kardashians for a day. And I dressed up as Khloe Kardashian. And Ryland and I went to a restaurant in West Hollywood and we had a video by the Hollywood Fix. It's like this paparazzi guy. We hired him. Most people do. You text him and say, I'm gonna be walking down this time at this time, and he shows up. When that video came out, I was like, wow, this is really not good. At that point, like I wouldn't look in a mirror. I only wore like sweats and a black hoodie because none of my clothes fit me. I had gained from the time that I started YouTube to that point, 40 to 50 pounds. Short amount of time, like within 2 years. What I will say, and this might be a tad bit controversial, and this is just my experience, and I'm just being honest, 100%, my weight gain was a direct result of my mental wellness. And now that, you know, the fog has cleared, I wasn't really trying to lose weight. I think my body just kind of stabilized when my mind stabilized because I was no longer doing like the whole binge cycle, the whole I'm gonna lose weight cycle. I've just kind of stabilized. I don't really think that I went through like a weight loss journey. I think I went through like a spiritual awakening. And that wasn't just something that happened overnight. I had to make a very conscious effort of what am I thinking about in a day? What am I doing in a day? Who am I seeing in my day? Who is in my life? Where am I living? Like everything in my life had to be reevaluated. It was a long stretch of like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Okay, I need another gift to wrap. This is getting too hot and heavy. No, I don't think it's for me to make videos about like health and weight loss, because I just feel like that can be not a safe place for a lot of people. Like I don't like watching that content, so I don't feel comfortable making that content, you know? It's just not for me. I got this for Ryland. He's been going through like a Sherpa phase. I made sure that he didn't have this one. He's just so small, so like little fluffy things look so cute. I'm gonna put it in this box that I already had. This is the time of year that I get rid of all the boxes that were previously in my closet. I don't want anyone to be off guard. The next question was, are you actually happy that Ryland and Shane moved to Colorado? I just spilt my energy drink all over my new gifts. Are you serious, Morgan? Are you serious? Good thing they're North Face, so they're waterproof. This is my biggest piece of life advice. If you want something, you gotta put it out there. You gotta start talking about it to people, even if it sounds like the most far out thing in the entire world. Ryland and Shane moving here was the most far out thing in the entire world. I kept talking about it. I kept putting it into the universe. This is like the secret. I have a little notebook, and every few months I'll write down like, what do I want for this season of my life? Or I'll do like long-term ones, like what do I want for this year of my life? What do I want for the next 10 years of my life? If you write things down, they just start happening. I don't know what it is. There's something about like putting it on a piece of paper. More so than the fact that Ryan and Shane moved here. I think everyone knows that I'm happy that Ryan and Shane moved here. I'm happy to have my whole family together. Things are cohesive. Everything's good. My biggest piece of life advice is that if you want something, you better start asking for it, because if you never ask for something, the answer is always going to be no. I think I was 16. My first job was at Plato's Closet, like the thrift store. I was working at Plato's Closet and I wrote in my little journal, I want a Range Rover. A couple years later, I got a Range Rover. Now granted, it exploded. I should have done better research on which Range Rover. I wasn't very specific. So, okay, you gotta fine tune. Okay, you gotta be really, really freaking stinking specific. Sometimes things get lost in translation and it's not exactly what you asked for. And that's the other thing. Sometimes you get things and it's like, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. This segued into a different question, but that is what I would tell my best friend, is if you want something, if you never go for it, you're never gonna get it. And I think a lot of the time it's easy to get intimidated. When I was in high school, I would watch like Alicia Marie, Bethany Moda, all those girls. And I was like, oh my God, that could never be me. They're special, they're YouTubers, they're cool, and they have millions of followers, and like they're like the chosen one. Say you're watching this and you wanna be a YouTuber. I don't deserve to be a YouTuber any more than you deserve to be a YouTuber. If you wanna work in HR, if you wanna be a teacher, if you wanna be a doctor, if you wanna be a lawyer, if you want to be the manager of Arby's, whatever the hell you wanna do, it's not like Sarah down the street is the chosen one and she's destined to be like the best manager at Arby's ever. The best two things that you can have is intention and effort. If your intentions are good and your effort is there, I don't know when this turned into I am Manifestation Morgan, but that's my spiel. Oh, this is so cute. I'm telling you, this is the year of robes. I got this for Trinity. This is just a small little silky black Skims robe. I also got her these cute little slippers. Why did you decide to renovate a whole house instead of building a new house? Wouldn't it just be easier to build a house from scratch as opposed to tearing an old one down? Would it be easier? Absolutely hell to the freaking yes. I really don't know how I got into all of this, to be quite honest with you. It more so found me. More so than the house itself that I was interested in. I loved the barn element, and I also wanted the land and the lot that it was specifically on. I'm probably gonna stay there for the rest of my damn life at this point, because it's gonna take that long. Let me tell you, it is a full-time freaking job. I'm a YouTuber, I am a house renovator, and I am a student. I got a break from one of those jobs right now, but it's coming back, and I'm like sweating already. I have been saving this big bow for Trinity's gift. Another question that I got that just really warmed my heart was, how do you find a lifelong friend like Trinity? Trinity and I are both Leos, which means that we either are lighting each other's flames or we are ready to kill each other, and that is exactly how I would say it works. It is the same thing that I said before. Intention and effort. You gotta find one friend. You gotta stick with them. There's this whole theory that I really like about conflict. Say you have a conflict with your family, with your friends, with your boyfriend, and with your girlfriend, whoever the hell you're gonna have a conflict with, you're gonna have a conflict with a million people in your life. Whenever I have a conflict with someone, I always think to myself, what is each of our end goal? This is one party, this is the other party. If one party is like, I want to be best friends with this person for the rest of my life, they are my best friend, I absolutely love them, and they are like my soulmate. And this person is like, I don't really know how I feel about this person. I don't know if I really want to be their friend. You're never gonna align because you don't have the same goal in mind. Trinity and I can remain friends because at the end of the day, our goal is to remain friends. When we are fighting, we are still fighting for the same thing. The same end goal. You can find a smooth path back home. If you are on two completely different wavelengths, if you're dating a boy and he's like, wow, I'm obsessed with you, and you're like, I don't really like you that much. You are driving on two different freeways. You're never gonna get off at the same exit. Take the exit, except that it didn't work out. If you are fighting for the same thing, eventually you will get off on the same exit and you can go to Starbucks and sit in the parking lot and hug it out. That is my best advice for friendship, is find someone that is willing to put in as much effort to you as you are to them. That's why my friendship with Trinity really works out. The effort is always there, so it just clicks. If you are friends with someone that doesn't want to give you effort, take the exit, find a new friend. Vice versa though, if you're not willing to put in effort to be a good friend to someone, they're probably not gonna wanna be your friend. So it's give and a take. Merry Christmas, Trinity. What is something that's always on your to-do list that never ends up getting done? Going to the car wash and going to the optometrist. Any New Year's resolutions? I had a night the other night where I really couldn't sleep. And I sort of came to this conclusion / realization that I don't really have much of a life or much of an identity outside of this, what you're watching. There's just not a lot of separation going on. Like, my job is my life. For example, in my kitchen, there was supposed to be another kitchen cabinet in the design, and I really specified, take the kitchen cabinet out. I want a window in that corner so the kitchen isn't dark. And all these people are like, Morgan, you're gonna need the fucking cabinet. You're not gonna want the window, you're gonna want the cabinet. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I'm gonna want the window because I am not going to be happy if this kitchen doesn't have the lighting that I want for my videos. Pretty much everything I do is rooted in this. Now, this is a new thought. I'm still trying to figure it out. I guess my goal in 2021 is to figure out, who am I when I am not working, and how do I not feel guilty when I'm not working? How do I separate my life from working? Sometimes I go to school and I'm like, this is my hobby, and then I'm like, Morgan, that's not, like, this isn't a hobby. Like, that's just like another added layer of stress. Basically, whenever I have a crisis, I just add something else on my plate, call it a hobby, pretend that it's not a lot of stress, and I don't really have a lot of fun in my life. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. Anyway, I got my mom and my aunt these matching sparkly cups. How cute, how fun. I walked up to Starbucks when she was putting these out, and I was like, you know what that screams? Two middle-aged sisters with the Karen cuts. I mean, come on. I guess my goal in the next year is to learn how to have fun. Woo! Maybe we should put some vodka in these things. Get a little party pumping. Woo! Okay, I mean, there's definitely gifts that have turned out better. This cylinder could be so many things. This is my stack. There was a bowl of spaghetti in the fridge. I don't know who it belongs to. I don't know whose property this is. There wasn't a name on it. The question someone asked was what to do if you are spending a holiday alone. When I lived in Hawaii, I was really broke. I had a job there, but their whole system was a little behind. And long story short, I didn't get my first paycheck until 6 months after I started working my job. It was a mess. There were a few Thanksgivings I spent alone there. There was a few Easters I spent alone there. I've had my fair share of holidays alone. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was pretty damn depressing. Just like an emotional day. Like when you're alone on a holiday, it kind of just feels like, wow, I have no one to call, no one to text. Everyone has family and friends except for me. I have nowhere to go. I didn't have a car. What I would say to you if you're spending a holiday alone today, just because you are alone today, 1, does not mean that you are not loved by so many people. 2, does not mean you are going to be alone forever. And 3, there is nothing wrong with some solitude going on. When I was in Hawaii, I was so broke to the point where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to eat today. Like that was the level. Something that I've always been really stubborn about is that like I will never ask anyone for money. I've had a job since I was 15. My mom had sent me like $150 and she was like, use this to like eat and get stuff to clean and to survive. And at the time I was like, I really want to start a YouTube channel. I was like, you know what? I've figured it out this far and I'm gonna keep figuring it out. So I spent my $150 and I went on eBay and I bought a used camera. I was like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. That is like the semester that I really learned how to edit. I learned how to film. I learned how to work a camera. I didn't eat well, that's for damn sure, but I learned how to survive. I do look back on those times when I was really struggling, spending the Easters alone, and I'm like, that really shaped me for who I am today. Just know, it is temporary. You will not spend every holiday alone, and maybe you'll look back and be like, wow, that was a very pivotal time in my life. Best is yet to come. Oh, Merry Christmas.